Day 1, Day 2, Day 5, it's Day 10, Day 20, Day 21, Day 28, Day 30. How have we got here? You're unbelievable. Good afternoon, people. It is Sunday. It is the 4th of January today. I don't know when I'm going to put this out, so don't have a go at me. There was like 5 viewers I have. Yeah, well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to recap the 30-day challenge. Throughout December, I haven't really ran that much, and that's on me. I've been eating mince pies, enjoying Christmas, enjoying the new year. A bit too much, I'd add. But the thing is, people in my family are on the health kick at the moment, which means that someone's got to eat those mince pies and someone's got to eat those cakes. I know that's not a rule of thumb, but it was something I don't like waste, so someone's got to eat it, and that person is me, unfortunately. Maybe a toxic trait to have, but yeah, it is what it is. That's what I've done. So put on a bit of weight, which is not very good. So the 30-day challenge, how do we find it? So first of all, we could do it. It can be done, right? It can be done. You saw it. It can be done. 30 days, 5k a day. I do work a full-time job, so I work 40 hours a week. I work 8 till 4. Although I do have a job, I could still do it. I don't have any kids. I do have pets, but nothing I gotta walk. So it's might be a little bit easier for me, but that's that. Yeah, so the 30 days challenge, like I said, can be done. I proved it because I've done it. This is the second time I've done it, so it's a bit easier when you know you've done it the first time. When I done it the first time, it was still challenging, but when you do it the second time, you already know you can do it, so you just do it again. First time I did it was around December, so I did it from the 1st of December all the way to the new year. My friend actually set the challenge for me. The only reason was, he said to me he wanted to do it, and it'd be good if we did it together, and he bet me a tenner I couldn't do it. So, me being me, I thought, yeah, okay, I'm going to do it just to prove you wrong. Maybe not the best motivation in life, but I done it and I got it done thanks to that person. But then I had to go and do it and prove it to myself that I could do it just for me. I tried again in February. I failed. I was quite ill at the time, but that's not an excuse. You can still run when you're ill. Maybe not as good as you can or not as fast, but you can get in those 3 miles. So yeah, it can be done. So then I thought, right, I'm not ending the year not having done it. So I did it throughout the month of November. I done it through the month of November. Unfortunately, I was already running for 2 weeks before that, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe it was a good thing because I was more conditioned, but maybe it was a bad thing because my knees were already under some strain, my body was already under some strain. So when I did go for that month, I think I was already fatigued in a sense. Either way, did not stop me doing the challenge. There was a couple of people in my life who were concerned with the quality of my body and not putting myself under too much strain then. You know, it's good to know that people in my life care about me and worried about me, but I think 5 kilometers isn't too strenuous for anyone to do a day. Although it is quite unrealistic. So it is quite unrealistic to sustain 5 kilometers a day. You know, there's people out there like Cameron Haynes and David Goggins who do marathons daily and 10Ks daily, but they're not human. Well, they are human, but yeah, they're elite people. And if you want to be there, that's fine. You crack on, you do that. But yeah, this video is for the average consumer, of the average person. And for the average person, they're not running 25k a day. They're not running 10k a day. So yeah, this is for them. So what happened? So I didn't change my diet and I lost weight. That's a good thing. My mental health was improved. Having that 30 minutes where you disconnect it from screens is really healthy. I think a lot of people these days just move from screen to screen. You go from your phone to a television, to a laptop, or to a PC. So yeah, it's good to have that disconnect. You've always got notifications pinging at you, and you always have that sense of FOMO, so fear of missing out, or envy when you're looking at screens all the time, especially on social media. So it is good to get away from that and to have a real detox from it. Something I would advise is if you are taking a smartwatch out, turn off your notifications. Just have that real 30 minutes to yourself where you're not thinking about anything, you're not worried about what anyone else is doing. If it's that urgent, it should be able to wait 30 minutes. If it's not, yeah, it's probably an isolated case just to you. and deal with that how you need to. So yeah. Right, some other things to know. You might not know this about me, but I was a lot heavier than I am now, and especially at a younger age I had a lot less muscle, a lot more fat, probably similar weight to what I am now, but like I said, a lot more fat and a lot less muscle. My diet was a big part of that, and obviously my lack of exercise. Part of it being a lack of knowing what to eat. Secondly, how to exercise. So I was very nervous about going to the gym. I was very nervous about running. I used to get blisters on my feet every time I put on running shoes. I used to just eat coffee and biscuits as my breakfast because that's what I wanted, so that's all I had. Especially as you get older, you have more control about what you eat. When you're in a younger age, maybe your parents limit what you have, but especially as you move out and you get older, you have free reign to do what you want, so it's a lot harder to stay disciplined into what you're eating and what you're exercising. Why does that matter? I tell you why that matters, because what happened was during the month of November and actually December, and I'm going to have to change this in the new year, I'm going to have to change my diet, because as you're running around on a poor diet, and what I mean by a poor diet is high fat, high sugar, and if you're eating high fat, high sugar, my body in particular will generate heartburn and feeling sick. That was the worst one yet. I feel horrendous. I don't know if it's just me in particular, but I have heard a lot of people say this, especially older people who may not have the best diet. I'm not saying it's an age thing or anything, but when you are not in the best shape, you tend to, if you look at what you're eating, generally it's high sugar, high fat. A lot of the time it's ultra processed, and that's fine. Yeah, I'm not judging anyone for that. The only thing is, it does make it harder to go running. When I was eating poor foods, you'll see this throughout the 30-day span, I found myself being bloated a lot of the time. I was burping. I generally just had really low energy. As soon as I hit that sofa, I was absolutely gone. I was zonked. It was really hard to get going again, and that's largely down to the diet and also sleep. But you know, diet is something that I think we can all control what's going in our mouth. If you've got sleep issues or trouble getting off to sleep, that's a different conversation altogether. But definitely we can control what we're eating. Like I was saying, in the videos that I was running, you can see a couple of times I was slowing down and burping a lot, and it's really tough. And you'll be surprised how much better and the more energy you have, and how much easier running becomes when you are eating a cleaner diet. And what I mean by cleaner diet, I mean is fresh fruits and veg and lean meats. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Just stick to that type of diet and you'll be fine. Right, third thing, sleep and stress. So why do I talk about those two? Because they go hand in hand a little bit, because when you've got more stress, you struggle to sleep, and when you're struggling to sleep, you're also more stressed because you're not getting the time to rest that you need. So sleep, I try to aim for about 6 to 8 hours a day if I can. I don't like to go generally below 8 because I feel really groggy, but once I get going, I have a coffee, I'm pretty good and I'm up and going, I'm fine. When I'm on 7 hours sleep, I'm a little bit hard work, but still, coffee, I'm alright once I get going. And then 6 hours, I'm pretty crappy, but you can't always meet all these peak conditions, and that's the thing. Don't get too hung up on what you're doing or not doing. If you're not getting the adequate sleep, if you're not getting the adequate diet, like I wasn't throughout this period, doesn't mean you shouldn't start, doesn't mean you shouldn't do it altogether, because a lot of the time we don't start these challenges or we don't make a lifestyle change because we want conditions to be perfect. And conditions are never perfect. There's always going to be stress in your life. There's always going to be a day where you're not getting the adequate sleep. And there's always going to be a day where you're not hitting your goals. Whatever they may be. Diet, career, whatever. But it doesn't mean you should let yourself down. If you set yourself a goal, try your absolute best to do it. I don't know what day it was. It might have been day 27 or what. But I went out for a run at 11 p.m. Now, right boys, it is 11 p.m. on a Thursday night. That is by no means the best case scenario, is it? You want to get up, you want to go before work, or you want to go straight from work, or you want to go straight when you're at the gym. But look at me, I was at 11 o'clock, I'd had a couple of drinks. Yeah, by all means, it was like two 2 little bottles, but still, I'd had a couple of drinks, a really heavy meal, and I still got out and did 5k. I know I'm quite young still, and maybe a little bit easier for me, but I was still doing a pretty good pace. I think I did a sub 35k, which when I first started running, I couldn't do sub 35k. So to say that I could still do it after those poor conditions, and I was tired, you know, it was 11 p.m. When these conditions aren't met, yeah, it's not ideal, but you can still get things done. And I think that's important to remember. Don't give up just because things aren't right. You know, if you aim to get out for 6 p.m. and it's 7, that doesn't mean that you can't get out and do it. That just means it's a bit crap. So just go on, just do it. Another thing I learned from running every day is how my body changed, how my body reacted. Like I said, I lost a lot of weight, but I also lost a bit of muscle because I completely stopped going to the gym and I wasn't keeping an eye on my diet. Now, I don't think the diet had much to do with it because the diet just stayed the same, but the lack of strength training and the running constantly, your body will change and adapt to suit the conditions you're in, and that's what happened. So I dropped a bit of muscle, I dropped a bit of weight, and I think I looked better, but I wasn't as happy as I have been with my body. Although I was probably in the best shape of my life fat-wise, I probably wasn't in the best shape of my life muscle-wise. So it's about finding that balance, especially when you come off the challenge and you move forward. Depends what your goals are. If you want to be a runner, by all means, you go ahead and run. You tailor your life to however you want to be. But for me personally, that's what I found. Yeah, so final thoughts, I'm going to continue to run because I do find that it helps me mentally. That's the one thing I found, is that my mental health has definitely improved when I'm running. I found a sense of calmness because I wouldn't say I'm quite high strung, but I am definitely in a high pressure environment sometimes, and I find that I will overload myself sometimes. So to take that time to take 30 minutes to go running is really good. It really helps you reset, take time, take stock, really think things through, because a lot of times we're quite rash and we don't actually take time to reflect on our lives. You might actually be where you should be in life, and that's fine. I think we see social media quite a lot and it takes out of context people's lives. You know, you always see someone doing amazing, you always see someone making money, you always see someone like doing it, and that's not reality. You're seeing 50 different people doing well at one point in their life, and that might have been their only success that year, but you've seen 50 of them. So it's not a real reflection on how life is. I'll carry on running. Maybe not every day. Don't think that's sustainable. Don't think that's good for my body because I need to recover. And that's the thing. I don't think I was recovering as well as I would be if I was doing it 3 times a week or even 4 times a week. 7 days a week is too much, in my opinion. Do whatever feels right for you. If you could do it every day, that's fine. But for me personally, I think 3 or 4 times a week is enough for me. I might go for longer distances in the future, but I will be incorporating more strength training and taking more time focusing on my diet, because I think that's where the money is made, in the kitchen. Let's go, boys.